tits, bitch.
Hello, fiends and fiendettes. Welcome to episode 108 of the best horror podcast on 7voltmedia.com and the world. Scream Fiends. I'm your host, Xander, and with me once again is Russ.
Hi.
If you're just joining us for the first time on the show, we talk about all the things going on in the world of horror. And if you're a long-time listener, you know we oftentimes don't follow by anything. And this episode is no different because we're jumping right into the movie review portion of this episode. And this being my birthday episode, we decided to do a sequel to a movie that we did previously. I don't remember what episode number it was, but it's been a while. This episode's movie of the week is 2019's Happy Death Day 2 to You. This movie is starring Jessica Rothe as Tree, returning as Tree. Israel Broussard as Carter. Phi Vu as Ryan. Suraj Sharma as Samar. And Ruby Modine as Lori. Is written and directed by Christopher Landon. So the entire cast pretty much is returning from the first movie. Even like minor characters that are just kind of in the background are all back. I think that Samar, he wasn't in the first one.
I don't think so.
Samar and the other girl, she wasn't in this one or the previous one, but this movie starts out with the Universal logo kind of splitting into three different it's all the Universal logo, but it's like three windows.
Yeah, like there's like some kind of like glitch. Then you see two logos going, but one's slightly off. Then it glitches again. Then it's like three of the same logo moving, and then they're slightly off. But then they all kind of line up at the end, and then there's another flash, and then it's just the normal.
Yep.
Universal
Foreshadowing.
Studios. They basically spoiled the whole movie with the fucking
Yeah,
title.
basically.
Bastards.
And then it begins with Ryan Wake, who, if you don't remember or if you never saw the first one, he is the roommate of Carter, or dorm mate, at the college.
I don't know what they call that. I didn't go to a real college.
No. Wakes up in his car, gets out, trash spills out, so he's been sleeping in his car. Goes by a lady walking her dog. The dog
Yips at him.
Goes after him.
Hey.
Dog's name is Frank.
Yep.
Because the lady goes, "No, come on,
Oh,
Frank.
stop it, Frank.
Stop it, Frank."
Oh, stop it, Frank.
Ryan walks by some bushes. A homeless guy pops up from behind him and asks for change.
He's like, I don't have any money.
Got any
Yeah,
change?
right.
Change.
Then he goes into his room, and then we get the
ending of the first movie where Carter is making out with Tree on the bed or couch. I think it's the bed. And they're like, "Get out of here." So he leaves and goes to like the science department,
Yep.
the quantum physics lab,
Yep.
where he is
Working on Sissy.
working on this device. But I don't know if you actually see the device here, because he goes into the room. It's all dark, of course, because you can't just have a normal room in a horror movie. And his friend...
Wait, don't Samara and the other friend show up when he's talking to his buddy who's kissing Tree? He's like, I just want to get some clean underwear.
Oh, yeah, Samar calls him.
Oh, yeah, he says, come over here. He's like, I can only understand 2%.
Yeah.
He goes over there.
And then
The lights are off.
they talk about there was an energy spike.
Oh yeah, at 12:01.
Yeah. And they don't know what caused it. It seemingly happened on its own.
Yeah.
And then Ryan walks into another room for some reason. I don't remember why.
I remember why. He was like by himself.
Oh,
then
yeah,
started
he
getting,
gets a
like,
picture.
Text messages.
Pictures.
Oh, yeah, pictures of himself.
Like right from outside the room.
Yep, and so he basically follows the direction of which these pictures are being taken into a dark room. And he follows it and goes to a closet. He opens the closet and there's nobody there. But then he turns around and this is Samar and he's got a churro.
Yeah.
And then then the camera turns back around and Babyface Killer
Babyface Killer is behind him, stabs him, and then he wakes up in the
his
car again.
Yep. Then he comes back to the room like we just went through.
And it's the same thing where it's Groundhog Day all over again. Dog yips. He throws a rock into the bushes, hits the homeless guy.
Hey, what the hell, man? And then gets to the room and goes, "You guys ever have deja vu?" And then Tree's like,
Oh my god. Let me recap the first movie.
So she recaps the first movie in a little montage.
Yep.
And they go to the room where they do shit. Or no, they're trying to. First, they got to figure out who's trying to kill him. And so.
Well, that's when they show the sissy device.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. I can't remember the technical term for it, but yeah, it's the sissy. That's what they call it.
Yeah,
the
but
sissy
they make
device.
they don't hide it at all that the sissy is the reason why this whole time loop shit's
No, they jump right in that it's creating parallel dimensions, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's opening rifts between
Yeah.
the multiverse. And so what happens is they got to figure out who's trying to kill Mr. Ryan. And I don't remember
decide-
how did they get there exactly, but
Well, they decide they need to be somewhere safe where, he can't
a
be
sporting
hurt.
event
Yep, so they go to a basketball game.
where everybody's got the baby face on. And they're like, oops. And then somebody pulls a fire alarm is my assumption. And they're
Well, no, because they say this is not a drill.
yeah, I figured somebody pulled the fire alarm.
Oh, okay, sure.
And it's
Well, yeah, most likely.
and then the voiceover thing's like "Brr, brr, brr, brr." So he's walking out. Oh, then he sees the Babyface guy and he starts running away. And they get this scene where he's like moving through the crowd and Babyface is moving through the crowd. And then he goes into like a locker room basement, thing with like the electrical boxes. And he's hiding and he sees somebody moving across a catwalk with a flashlight. He's like, what's that? And then Babyface jumps out from behind him.
Well, because there's like, for whatever reason, there's a bunch of like dummies
Oh, yeah, it
or
looks like
mannequins
it looks-
with.
Yeah, like apparel for the school. Like almost looks like a storeroom for like merchandise.
Yeah. And they've all got the baby face masks on. And
So yeah, he backs up and then into like a mannequin, and then he's like, "Oh my god!" And then the actual killer comes out, and like is about to stab him, but then Tree comes in and whacks him with a trophy, and he falls. So who is it? You see him pull the mask off quickly, but you can see it's got yellow hair. It's like, holy shit, he's trying to kill himself.
Yeah.
So that's what we get
It's
to next.
it's Ryan.
Yep, he's tied up in his room.
So two Ryans. The one is from another timeline, but they don't really get into like how he got there.
Well, I think the initial sissy power up is what sent this Ryan into this one.
But he seems to know more. Like he knows that Ryan is going to cause certain things. So it leads you to believe that alternate Ryan has been through a bunch of stuff before.
Maybe that multiple Ryan sent himself into the loop to kill himself to stop him from starting the loop, but he fails. He's like, "Don't do it!" Like, no, that's the real one. No, and then he does it, and he sends. Then what we get is the beginning of the first movie.
Yes. So
No.
I think that we're getting to a place that's much more interesting than how this movie actually conveys it.
Yeah, so Ryan number 2, we'll call him multiple universe Ryan, is tied to a chair. And then there's the other Ryan, and they're trying to figure out. He says, "Yeah, you have to kill him. No, don't kill that one. Don't kill this one. Don't kill that one." He goes, "No, I'll just send you back through the thing." He's like, "No, don't do that. It just gets worse." And then they're like, "You got to stop him."
And the Ryan from that timeline or dimension, we'll say, okay, how do you want it? Do you want to say that Ryan that was trying to kill the Ryan is the bad Ryan or the good Ryan?
I'll say I don't know that you can go good and evil with this. I think you have one that's just trying to fix the shit he started, and one that doesn't realize is that he is the shit that started.
Yeah.
So we'll say Ryan multiple universe Ryan, and single universe Ryan. But in any case, so we're missing something. We forgot something.
Okay.
Earlier, the dean comes in and shuts down the project because it sucks.
Well, yeah, it's not. It's not leading to results. It's not leading to patents, which is what the school is all about.
And so then when we get to the scene where they're fighting which Ryan is which, multiple universe Ryan's like, you have to stop him. Other multiple Ryan's like, well, I'm going to do this. And he sets the thing up. The algorithm's going to close this loop or send the other Ryan back to the loop or whatever. Right as the dean comes in to stop them. And they're like, what's going? Boom. Shit happens.
I know, really cool. Like, this is probably my favorite part in the movie, this slow motion time explosion.
Yeah.
It's like super slow motion of them all getting like blown back.
Blown back by this thing.
And just all the little details of like
coffee spilling. Oh, his yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo is spilling and like pens floating in the air and the expressions on their faces. Yeah, I would watch this movie just for that scene. Really.
Cool.
Yeah. It was cool. I don't know.
That's a cooler time travel scene though. If you like, did you ever see that X-Men First Class or whatever?
Yeah.
Where they're coming out of the prison with Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like gonna use his power, and Charles is like, no, and then time stops because then that Lightning McQueen guy or whatever his name is, he's in all the American
Quicksilver.
ones. Yeah, Quicksilver's like starts doing a thing where he's running around and like moving bullets and stuff.
Oh, that's
and, like,
right. Yeah.
Takes the soup and like does the thing where it goes like this, and then so when time comes back to normal, everyone's like punching themselves.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
How they shot that effect, but
So. Now, the movie doesn't explicitly state this, but do you think that this event is what caused the loop in the first movie? Like, this is the event that kicked everything off? Or do you think it's when the device randomly created the energy spike at 12:01?
I think it might have been that. And this is just a timeline of that. This is because it's not the same time when this one goes off.
I suppose because it had already gone off at this point. Yeah.
And so we get her waking back up, and it starts the first movie all over again. And then you just watch the first movie. That's the joke. That's the whole joke, is you just watch the first movie again. No, just kidding. That's not what happens. No.
Well, it is the first date. I mean,
it does go back
starts
to that
where it all starts. Yeah. But Tree is fully aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
She's
like,
pissed.
Shit. Yep. And she like goes outside and is like, Ryan, get in here. And then they go meet at their lab, and they go meet at the lab. And she's starting to notice like things are different though.
Yeah.
She finds out somehow that Carter's dating Danielle, this one bitch in her sorority that sucks.
Who is also in the first movie.
Yep. And then her friend Lori's being very nice to her, and she's like,
who is the spoilers? I don't know why if you haven't seen the first one, but she is the killer in the first movie.
Yeah. And so she's like, "Where's the poison thing?" She goes, "What are you talking about?" And so it's like, "Wait a minute, things are different." And then she's going around.
She has to go meet up with her dad for her birthday lunch.
Yes. And then, so in the first movie, you find out that her mother had passed, and she had, kind of turned into party girl, whatever. I think because of it.
Yeah.
Well, when she sits down, he goes, "Oh, what do you want to order?" He's like, "Oh, we got one more." And she's like, "Who do we have?" Then the waiter moves, and it's her mom. She's like, Holy
her
shit.
mom is alive in this timeline.
So this is where she kind of figures out that she's in the wrong timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's going, everything's going okay, but then she's remembers what happens on that day before, so she tries to go back, I think, to like stop the murders from happening.
Well, doesn't she see on the news that Toombs is
Oh yeah.
getting brought there? Now I can't remember. Who is Toombs the guy that killed Tree's mom?
I don't know about that. I don't remember exactly what happened with that.
Yeah.
But I know that I don't think that's how she died, but what happens is Toombs is just a guy that and Laurie was let him loose to kill.
Right, but it seems like Tree is aware of
Yeah, because that's who she had to stop before.
Because is it all due to her finding out that Laurie is letting Toombs loose just because he's a serial killer?
Yeah, but in this reality, it's different. Laurie's not trying to let Toombs loose.
Right.
So she goes back and finds Laurie got fucking stabbed.
Ah, that's right.
And she tricks the cop and, tries to take the cop's gun, but then ends up getting handcuffed. But Carter shows up, I think, and then they're running, and then she... Oh, yeah, then
She falls off the roof of the hospital.
Yeah, so she was kind of like outsmarting the killer, doing a pretty decent job, but then, like, was moving away, fell off the roof, and she goes, oh, rookie move, when she wakes up in the bed again.
Yeah.
Goes through the same shit. They're talking about that device. She sees her mom some more.
Well, and they figure out that they have to narrow down, like, how... Because there's all sorts of algorithms and...
Well, I think they're still trying to figure out who's killing... who's coming back to kill her now because it's not Laurie, and so they're trying to figure out who it is. And so you're right though, so she wants to close the time loop, but she wants to stay in this time loop where her mother's still alive, but she's conflicted because in this time loop she's not with Carter,
right?
And so she's conflicted, but she wants her mom back, so she decides we didn't need to do this. But they run into the problem that every time she dies and wakes up, everything they tested is going to be gone. She goes, okay, so...
Yeah, she remembers everything, but they forget everything.
So basically, they're like, okay, well, why don't you do it? We'll try it. If it doesn't work, you can just kill yourself. And she's like, what? Why would I? This is sick. She goes, well, it's better than being chased by some guy in a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, a good chunk of this, like, movie here is, like, a kind of a...
montage
of her, different ways for her
a
to kill
suicide
herself.
montage.
A suicide montage, and she keeps coming back. And they finally get to like the last possible thing, and they get it. And
well, let's talk about all the different ways she offs herself.
so the first one was the hair dryer in the bathtub. And that's funny because the next day when she wakes up, her hair's all poofed.
Yeah.
And then there's bleach.
Drano.
Oh, Drano.
Yeah, she's just like in a grocery store and.
Yeah, some
there's some
big
old
guy in overalls looking at her, and she just kind of like bottoms up and then takes it. And he's like, "Oh!" and like runs away. There's off of a building. She's she's like in between all this too. There'll be like clips of her like watching Danielle and Carter kissing, and she's like pissed.
Yeah.
So I think that's my favorite suicide. Is she skydives without a parachute in her underwear and just like. Lands in front of them and explodes her bloody body all over them, but she like flips off the camera on the way down, a little fourth wall. But so there's that death. But what we notice is she's starting to die. She keeps getting more and more pain. Like so, it's like her even though she's dying, coming back for some reason. There's like
it's the injuries are still kind of being inflicted.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason for that.
No, which is in the first movie too.
So she keeps. So eventually she won't come back. I don't know what. Maybe it's the Matrix. Your if your mind dies, your body dies or whatever. Remember?
Sure.
So yeah, this is the Matrix 6. I think the fifth Matrix movie is what this is. Oh, hey, you hear about that?
Yeah.
They're gonna do another Matrix movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be good.
Maybe. So yeah, they finally get the algorithm to where it needs to be. Figure out how to make it work. But the dean comes in and
ruins everything.
decides to shut the entire project down. And
no, the first thing she does is she's gonna have them redo the whole thing. Yeah, she's gonna have them do it, and everything's going. It's just fine. And she's driving with her mom and her dad, and they're like, she's gonna get her family away from there. And Carter's like, you can't just leave. People are gonna die. She goes, I can't be responsible for that. I have my mom back. This is what I want. Blah blah blah. So she's leaving. She gets to the hotel and she's talking to her mom, and they have a heart to heart. And her mom kind of convinces her that she should go back to the other timeline and be with Carter. Not actually saying these things to each other, but like innuendos.
Right, because she asked the mom like how she knew that the dad was the one or whatever.
Exactly. And so
she says that, I didn't know. I just had to take a leap of faith.
Yep. And so before she can do anything, she sees the TV and she finds out that Lori, Toombs, and then Carter have been killed at that hospital. She's like, no. So she's got to get them to stop closing the time loop because Carter will be dead in the timeline with her
right
now if they close it. So she's can't get a hold of Ryan, so she drives her car into an electrical substation and manages to stave off the closing of the time loop and tells Carter, this is the last time I die for you. He's like, what? And
we finally find out what Carter is looking for in the little cabinet. Every time she wakes up, Carter's like looking for something in the cabinet.
Yeah.
And it's his mouth guard.
Yeah, so yep, they go to set it all up again and do the same thing. However, they that's when the dean comes in and shuts it down. So then they come up with this whole plan to get the thing back, and I really, really hated this part of the movie. It's funny.
There's a lot of things in this movie where it tonally just does not fit. Like, there's a lot of very heartfelt, serious moments dealing with Tree and her mom.
Yeah.
And then there's
like really goofy moments.
Which is actually fine because the entire premise is kind of
I felt
comedic
like this
in a way.
Whole scene could have been left out of the movie though. The whole like them stealing the thing.
Oh yeah.
And then having like the finish.
Danielle.
Yeah, with Danielle doing her like I'm gonna be an actress and she's just pretending to be a French blind woman.
Yeah.
And that whole thing could have been left out.
Yeah.
But so they're getting it all put together, but Tree decides she needs to fix what happens in the time loop. So she goes back to the hospital, gets the cop's gun.
There's one point where we find out that Danielle is cheating on Carter.
Yeah.
With some dude.
Yeah, so
so she has some sort of like justification of like wanting to, or she feels better about the entire situation with Carter and herself in this timeline.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
So she goes back to the hospital, goes in, sneaks into the room where the cop is. He's peeing. She grabs his gun and puts it against his head, and he finishes peeing.
No, wait. Doesn't she knock him out with the telephone?
No.
Or is that in a previous?
That was the previous one.
Oh, okay.
That's because then she gets the axe or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Or something. Oh no, it was between that one and this one. Because the first time she gets the axe, he gets her to drop it and handcuffs her. Then the second time she goes through that timeline trying to figure out who's trying to kill her. Then they decided to just have her kill herself. And then so what happens there is she gets the cop to run off and get help. She gets into the room with Lori and she says, "Lori, move!" And then Toombs is like, "I'm gonna," shoots him. Then they're moving around and they realize there's another babyface killer, and because of like little scenes throughout the movie where you see the doctor that she was sleeping with in the original timeline is getting in fights with his wife, she puts it together, but without telling us. She puts it together that the doctor is trying to kill Lori.
Right, because the wife found out about the affair.
Yeah, well, that's
so
what they reveal.
In the original timeline, Tree is also having an affair with the doctor, and that's why Lori wants to kill Tree, right?
I think that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, but in this one, the doctor doesn't even know who Tree is.
Yeah, because he's having the affair with Lori instead.
But no, I thought that's in the first one he was having an affair with both Lori and Tree.
I thought it was just Tree, but Lori liked him.
Oh, okay.
But then there was the wife.
Okay.
But
yeah.
So yeah, we missed a scene too where she tells Lori, you're better than this, and blah blah blah, and she gives her a hug, and there's this heartfelt moment. Yeah. She kind of has another heartfelt moment with her mother, telling her how special she is. There's a little moment there, and then she goes through the stuff to stop. So she shoots Toombs. Then you get the standoff with the doctor and Tree and Lori. But Lori, so he comes up with the knife, thinking he's not going to. And Lori shoots at his feet, so he goes, "Okay," he drops the knife. Because then there's something you forgot, and then the wife shows up behind both of them. She goes, blah blah blah, says something that was dumb, and then shoots Lori and Lori in the stomach, and Lori falls down. But you can see she's still alive, but so Lori gets shot, and then they kind of beat up Tree a little bit. But then, oh yeah, so then
the doctor says, I want a divorce, or shoots her.
The wife has both guns, and Tree's on the ground, pretty much helpless at this point, and the wife asks the doctor, "Hey, do you want to do the honors?" He goes, "I would love to," and grabs the gun and goes, "But one more thing, I want a divorce," and shoots his wife. And
oh my god, this entire their motivation just does not make sense to me. Why wouldn't he just divorce his wife rather than go through this whole ordeal where he has to kill Lori, but then he ends up killing the wife too?
I don't know.
But the wife was in on wanting to kill Lori. So it's like, why?
Well, I think she wanted him to kill Lori, or she was gonna ruin his life and her life or something. It was really dumb.
It was really dumb.
And so, but then she shoots the wife. But then he's about to shoot Tree, but then Carter shows up, and then he ends up chasing them around the hospital with a gun, and they get into an MRI room.
Oh, that's right.
And he throws Tree through the window into the MRI room. And she's got a screwdriver. She pulls it out at him. And he's got the gun. He goes like, "Oh, what are you going to do with that?" She goes, "Oh, one more thing. MRI machine magnet." And I'm like, "Oh, that she's going to let go of the screwdriver. It's going to stab him."
No, she doesn't say MRI. She says,
I don't remember.
"You got screwed."
Yep. And then she turns the MRI machine on, which I'm pretty sure that's not how those work.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I mean, I know you can't have any metal on you, and they have to, there's but I don't think
it's gonna suck a chair into.
I don't think that would happen, but I don't think the switch to turn it on is just some big green button on the wall.
Yeah.
But a wheelchair flies off, pins him up against the MRI machine, and he's like, "You bitch!" And then she lets go of the screwdriver and it stabs him, I said it would. So he's dead. Everything's fine, and they're fighting off the Dean, trying to get this machine to close the time loops. And right as it's closing, Carter and Tree kiss in this timeline, but then she wakes up in her other timeline, and
they're still together.
They're still together, and she's like, "Danielle," and he's like, "Who's that?" She goes, "Oh," and then she lays on him. He goes, "Oh, get off me! I shit my pants." And so, but
then we get credits.
Then we get a scene where they're
all... hold on.
Oh, shit.
Hold on.
Oh, shit.
I feel like they missed a giant opportunity with the Dean, because the entire time I was thinking, oh, they're going to reveal at some point that the Dean has an alternate timeline himself, and that's why he's so adamant about wanting to stop this machine. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
It would have
been funny if you just embraced it and just had him sitting with himself watching that cat show he was watching earlier.
Oh, yeah.
How's it going, Dean? Pretty good, Dean. Preach. But,
yeah.
So, yeah, they're picking up garbage.
Post-credit scene.
Yeah, post-credits. They're picking up garbage because they're all in trouble for, breaking the rules or whatever. But then the DARPA chief comes and gets them.
DARPA chief.
Well, it was DARPA.
Yeah, it was.
But
we got some child soldiers we need.
Yep. It's the DARPA chief, and DARPA chief brings him to the Metal Gear Solids,
Mm-hmm.
and they have Sissy there, the machine, and he's like, maybe you could help us figure out how it works. And Ryan's like, well, I have to try all these algorithms, and then Tree's like, I remember everything. And
I
like,
can help with this.
I can help. Well, we just need a test subject. She goes, I know just the person. And then you get the next scene of Danielle waking up in her bed screaming.
Yep. So she has chosen Danielle to be the test subject.
Because she's a bitch.
Yep. Because she cheated on Tree's not boyfriend in the alternate timeline. So therefore, Tree forces Danielle into a Groundhog Day hell where she is forced to be killed over and over and over again.
Bang, bang, bang.
It's your birthday.
So yeah, that is Happy Death Day to you. Russ, what did you think of the sequel?
It could have been 40 minutes shorter.
It felt very long.
It was an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what it felt like to me, too? It felt like Big Bang Theory Halloween episode.
Yeah, it was barely a slasher, which was the first movie I think we both agreed was pretty good. I think we both really liked the first one.
Yeah, I like the first one. It was fun.
It was fun.
But yeah, that movie was cool because it was like a slasher movie, but there was the whole Groundhog Day element to it. Whereas this one is just like
The science.
way more science stuff. The babyface killer is barely in it.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. It wasn't as much fun, you know. It would have been, I could have seen it being fun, like, of her just keep, like, her trying to save Ryan the whole, that's what I thought it was going to be. It's just her trying to save Ryan and failing over and over again.
Yeah.
While he's trying to, like, figure out how to close the time loop, you know, or whatever, you know, and that I think would have been more fun and funny, but
Yeah.
this was like, it was just so, like, this one was so heartfelt and so, like so much of that kind of mushy shit in it.
Drama.
There's a lot
and,
of
like,
drama in it,
and it felt like it was rehashing so much. Like I get it. She knows what's going on. She knows the whole like repeating death stuff, but it just felt so stale. Like, I don't know. Like, it was unnecessary to just show that she's gonna kill herself over and over again.
That and like the whole fact that it just became the science project gone haywire.
Yeah.
It just kind of cheapens the whole lore behind whatever. Like, it just leaving it where it was in the first movie was, I thought, a better move.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like, well, we don't know why this is happening. Just like with Groundhog's Day, we don't know why the day keeps repeating itself.
Right.
But
It's, in one aspect, it's cool that you don't really get a lot of, I don't know if you would call this high concept, but it's, you have to think a little bit more about it than your standard, like, teen
yeah, well, 'cause
college
it does
horror movie.
It does leave enough for you to try to figure out the mystery, but some of the shit that's going to happen is blatantly fucking obvious.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But on top of all that, though, I still kind of had fun watching it. You know, like, it was still fun to watch, and there's kind of funny parts and this. And
Yeah.
that. You know, so I don't think it was like, unnecessary is probably the best word I can come up. It was just kind of an unnecessary sequel, but like, honestly, I would watch it. If somebody's like, "Hey, you want to see something?" Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
I like that they tried to like create a bigger like mythos of the story.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree that like the first movie would have been just fine, like leaving it alone, like not having any sort of like explanation of why she ever repeated, but I do and I think it succeeded more than other movies that have tried to like expand a universe. Something that it reminded me of was the Scream franchise, where it's like as they progressed, it started getting killers that they were technically part of the lore, but they're so far removed that it was like, who the fuck cares about this character, like if they're the killer or not.
Yeah.
Whereas like,
And like this all starts off kind of goofbally, whereas like Doesn't the Scream series just get fucking more and more just ridiculous as it goes
Kind
on?
of, yeah.
Like I've seen the first one years ago and parts of the second one. But like it just like didn't one of them end up just being like them acting in a show?
Well, no, they were making a movie of Sydney's the events in the town.
Yeah.
What happened. So yeah, it was like a movie within a movie, and then there was the one where it was like a play.
They end up becoming just like loose sequels to the scary movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this actually did a lot better job being a sequel than other movies. But it did kind of feel like, well, what the, it's kind of weird. But I had enough fun watching it, But it could definitely be a little shorter. I would say if they just removed the whole sequence of them re-stealing the sissy machine back,
Yeah.
it'd be fine.
Yeah. That part is definitely the most goofy of the entire movie.
I mean that it becomes slapstick humor, like comedy. There's like
straight up slapstick.
Yeah, exactly, because she whacks him with that blind stick pole thing.
And she falls into the curtain and
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, no. if that was out of it, it'd be perfectly fine sequel. Even with it being more sci-fi and just kind of explain the mythos right out of it, whatever. But on top of all that, though, I had a decent enough time. The acting was fine. The characters were, I don't know what it is. It's just there was something endearing about the characters.
I like all the characters.
Yeah,
which is hard to do in this type of movie.
And I don't even know why. Like, I feel like I shouldn't give a shit about these characters, but I'm like, I like everybody.
Even like the Samar and the other girl, like usually those types of characters are just like completely throwaway.
Yeah.
But they were entertaining.
Yeah.
Like him with his churros and
it's weird. I feel weird how entertained I was by this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I should be angry and I'm like trying to be, but it's like there's nothing really wrong with this movie except for that one sequence. So, yeah. Go see it.
Yeah, it's
fun.
Yeah.
I think maybe with just the world and everything the way it is, this kind of lighthearted drama horror is just what we need right now.
It's kind of perfect, yeah.
I kind of think,
yeah.
I think maybe that's what it is. It's just everything sucks in real life, so just having a horror movie that's not that bad.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like it's a horror movie, but it's so like lighthearted and I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's kind of like
I really
makes you feel good inside.
It's really weird that it does that.
Yeah.
I mean, it says I think it's classified as a comedy horror too. So it does a pretty good job. Yeah. Now it's a far cry from Tucker and Dale, but it's pretty good.
At the very end, I had an image or an idea flash into my mind of like the thing goes off, the sissy machine goes off, and then all of a sudden it's like they're puppets, like it's Thanksgiving 3. Like the entire movie is done with puppets.
I'd be all right with that.
Yeah. But yeah, what is your rating?
I'll give it a seal of approval as a comedy horror movie. It's fine. And I'll go, I mean, I'll despite that sequence that I don't like, I'll give it a bronze. It's fun. It's a fun movie. I had a good time with it. And if somebody wanted to plug it in, I wouldn't turn it off. You know, I might not actively seek this movie out if I was going to watch anything. I would watch the first one again.
Yeah.
But I had fun with this one. I don't know. It was fine.
Yeah.
I think it was good.
I agree that the first one is superior. This one, yeah, I agree it's fun. I would also seal approval, bronze. I think that's fair. Much better than The Witch. Much more Vivitch. Much more entertaining.
Yeah, more entertaining than the Vivitch.
Yeah.
In all ways better than Martyrs remake.
Oh. So it sounds like the third one may not happen.
Okay, good.
Because Christopher Landon apparently has an idea for the third one, but I don't think this movie was as successful as they thought it might have been.
Sure.
Because the first one made a ton of money, but
You know
this
what
one just
this movie makes me feel like?
huh.
It makes me feel like late 90s.
Hmm.
It makes me feel like American Pie. Like if the American Pie got a horror spin-off, it would be this movie.
I was thinking that a lot of the shots and the look of the movie was very like early 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, and I'll go back and watch like American Pie sometimes, and I never really cared that much for that movie, but there's just something about like reliving like those high school years and
Yeah.
shit, like because that's when I was in high school, was during like when that had come out, and it's just like, man, forgot about all this shit. Same with that other one that Jason guy is in,
Jason Biggs.
Biggs, where he's like a loser and he's dating Mina Savori, who's also in American Pie, and his mom gets him the pants with the underwear attached to it, so it looks like he sags and stuff. I can't remember what movie that's called, but in the 90s. So this movie has like that. I think that's what it is. It has like that 90s, that late 90s like high school college movie charm to it. Like,
Well, and I think it has that something about those movies, like they didn't take themselves as seriously. Like it was just something about them. Like, I don't know. It wasn't that they were straight up comedies. It was just like the
characters are
the
just
way they
weird.
were made. Just like, I don't know. They had a certain feeling to them, and this movie kind of replicates that.
It does.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't know if it was. I don't think it was intentional, but maybe it was.
Maybe it was, because
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel weird because I feel like I like that movie way more than I should. No, good thing. Silver, seal of approval. Watch it if you've seen it.
Oh, you say silver now?
No, seal of approval.
Oh, okay.
Bronze. Watch it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
this pushes the first one up to the silver if we didn't give it one to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know what we gave it.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below if you remember, if you watched our original Happy, if we had a video, I don't know, or listened to the audio.
I can't remember.
But in any case, let us know on Twitter at ScreamFiends what you thought of Happy Death Day to you. Let us know what you thought of what we thought of Happy Death Day to you. Let us know what to watch next. We're always looking for something good, something bad, something mediocre.
I'm pretty sure we know what we're doing next week, and I don't want to deviate
Yeah.
because I've almost finished it, and I'm just going to wait now and watch it here.
Yeah.
I mean, we could start it halfway through if you wanted, but like that movie.
No, we need to watch from the beginning.
Yeah, that movie's fucking insane. I love that movie. I only seen part of it.
From us at Scream Fiends, so long and farewell.